Okay, this is going to be a continuation of how to import a game from Huddle using the data first method. Difference in this method is that you import your data and then you add the video and match the video with the data. We'll start off on this section and we will create a game with video and data in FCBC. We'll add data. We'll load the files and do some encoding. We'll match the angles. We'll match the angles with the data, teaching you how to do a little ripple insert and ripple delete. So that's where we're headed. Let's get started. Okay, we're ready to create a new game in FCBC, one that has data and video, and we're going to match all that information together. First thing we're going to do is go to and create a game in FCBC. If you'll notice here, there's several different boxes across the top right here. One, it says season, teams, games. The first thing we need to do is make sure that we have the correct year. This game that we're going to be bringing in was done in 2015, and if you'll notice, I don't have 2015 listed. So I'm going to choose this icon right beside and click and create a new season and type in 2015 and say OK. Okay, I'm now ready to go over and create the game in the game slot right here. Again, I'll choose the icon at the end of the little box, and it allows me to create a new game. Okay, we need to make sure that this is the correct date. It is in 2015. I'll use this icon for the actual date of the game, which was September 18th in 2015. This is showing 2020. So let's see if I can get back to 2015. There we go in 2015, and I want 9/18. Okay, so we have the correct date now. Neither one of the teams I don't think are going to be listed. We have a whole lot of teams in here, but it was KHS, excuse me, and Newport. So I need to create KHS. I choose the icon on the end right here and create new team, and I type in KHS and OK. And you'll notice he'll come in as the offensive team, and I'm going to create Newport, same icon on the defensive team. Type in new team and Newport and OK. And to finish creating the game, I need a game name. So I put my cursor in the box here and just left click, and you can see the game. Okay, so at this point in time, once I click OK, I've created a new game. Okay, we're ready to import the data. So we'll find this row right here and go across to where it says data. Click down and import all data. Okay, this opens up. I was fortunate that it opened up to right where my data was stored. So I'll choose this game right here and I'll open it. Okay, this gives you an option. Normally, if this is a trade game, then you will choose this little radio button right here and watch how the offense and defense changes. Okay, this is offense looking at defense, defense looking at offense. Or if it were my game, I'll make it look like this. I'm going to leave it like here. Another option is add missing pick list values. So when you had all the drop downs and all the information that you put in the different columns that allowed you to input data quickly, this would import that as a pick list. And you'll have you'll have the drop downs available when you see it in FCBC. So I'm going to click OK. Okay, this brings me to my mapping. Okay, I need to kind of look at these. This is what you're importing in the terminology that came from Huddle. This is what it's going to be in FCBC. Some of these are going to be the same. Some of them aren't. In Huddle, it will call it gap, and FCBC, it'll call it run to area. Yard line in Huddle, field position in FCBC. The result, if you'll notice, it can be stored in a lot of different places in FCBC. Basically, you find what it is that you like over here and make it look the same over here. If you don't find it over here, you can go down to where it says variables right down here. You can click and you can add a variable. And these are all the variables that you have and how they're set up. And we'll go through that another time in another video. But you can add and make it what it was, just like it was in Huddle. And the naming will come out the same over here. So I'm going to leave this like it is, and I'm going to say OK. And you'll notice that all of the data files I have in here are just like what I had in my Excel. Let's see if I can find that Excel again. Okay, let's go ahead and open up this Excel right here so you can see it. And this is taking time. If you notice, it has the ODK, down distance, and all the information going across. Some of the columns have data in it, some of them don't. So if you look here, like in result and gap, there was no data. So when I go over and look at my imported data into FCBC, there was no information in those two areas. Now, if you'll notice here also in the run to area, there's a little box over here with some dots. This gives you the option at some point in time, if you want to come back and add data, you can physically add it here by clicking and checking which run gap they ran through. Or as they have here in the pass to area, you can check the little box on the end with the dots and you can see where they threw the ball. Okay, again, we'll talk more about these in other videos, just that you are aware that the data did come in correctly. So we're going to go to the icon here that says load video. Okay, now the game that we have right now has 4 angles. It has a wide, a tight, and the south end zone and a north end zone. So we're going to add this video in. First thing I want to make sure is that we can change how it's going to be encoded. I'm going to go ahead, my first pass I'm going to do in 720 because the encoding is a little faster. I have an option where I can do it at 1080 or even at 4K. The more intense the encoding, the longer it takes for the video to be encoded. So I'm going to leave it at 720. At another point in time, I'll come back and add the video again and encode it at a different rate if I would like. Especially if I'm going to do highlights, I probably would rather have it at a 1080p. So here we go. I'm going to click right here where it says add files. I'm going to add using files. They're on this PC. They're on this drive right here. Training, and their games. So let's look at wide. Okay, these are all of my clips here. Choose the first one, scroll down to the very last one, press shift and click the last file. And notice all the ones are highlighted in between. I hit open and it started the encode process. Okay. Let's go ahead and do tight. This time, instead of doing it with files, I'm going to add files again like it says here. I'm going to add an entire folder this time. Again, I want to go to my PC. I want to go down to video 4. I want to do in my training. So I choose tight, that's the folder, and I click OK. And it added all of the clips that were in that tight folder. You can see them all here. There are 141 in that list, and there are 141 in the wide list. So this is going to match up pretty well, so it seems. We're going to go ahead and add these last 2 in. Add the folder here. We'll do the same thing. We'll scroll down. I want my PC. I want video 4. There he is right there. I want my training video. The south end zone. Click south end zone. Hit OK. I'll do it with files again this time. So this time I'm going to go add files. I'm going to go to my PC. I'm going to go to video 4. I'm going to go down to my training folder, choose games. Here we go. This is the north end zone. So I open it, choose the first file, scroll down to the very last one, hold down the shift key, left click, it chooses all the files between the first and last, hit open. Okay, at this time right now, we're encoding all of the video on a single computer. Okay, we have everything encoded now. Finished, and you can see that as we go through and look at each one of these, the files have been encoded, that everything is there. The first two have 141 in them. This one only has 132, so we're missing some clips here. I don't think it's we're missing clips. I think it's the fact that maybe camera had issues or the operator had issues and didn't get enough clips. Where there are some missing video files here. Same thing going in this folder here. They're missing files. So this was everything that was in each folder for all four. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back and we're going to start matching. Okay, so go start matching our video angles. So we can click here, and at this point in time, what we need to do is we'll go to this section right here where you can see the video in the first angle. I'm going to right click on this where it says no video, and I'm going to add remaining video angles. And there it goes, 141 video files in that angle. Let's do the same thing for each one of these angles. 141 for that one, that's correct. This one I think had less than that, so let's see. Sure enough, had 132, just like the last one. I think this one had 114. Yep, sure enough. So all of the video has been added to each of the different angles. If you notice over here on the end, it's already been ODK'd. What we don't know is there are some of the files here that don't match with these guys over here. These two guys right here should match up pretty close. These guys right here, not going to happen. So we're going to have to adjust these up or down. Easy way of doing that is you can right click on one of these right here, and it'll allow you to insert. And when you insert, that puts an open spot right there, like there's no video. It'll say no video. Or you can delete, and that will either move the video up or down in that particular column. You can do this by going through viewing each one of these angles manually, and probably the best way of doing that is to look at the kicks. So I'd look at kick here. I would go down and find the next kick right here and look and see if it's still a kick. And it looks like it is here in all the angles, and I can continue down and check the next kick. I also need to be aware that there are going to be scoreboards involved, like here between these two kicks where you kicked an extra point, and then there's a scoreboard that shows, and then there's the kickoff. So I'm going to check the scoreboard here, and you'll see that the first two have scoreboards here, and these two are on the next kickoff. So this is where we would take and insert. So I'll right click here and insert, and that's going to move these clips down, and you'll see no video here. And I'm going to do the same thing here because I need to move this down here, insert. Now it's not showing that right this second, so I'm going to click off of that file and then go back to that file showing the scoreboard. And this time you'll notice that the scoreboard is showing in the first two like it should, and there's no video showing in the last two, which means we've taken that video and moved it down. So if I click to the next place here where it says kickoff, I should be able to see a kickoff in each one of these frames. So you can do this manually. Another way of doing it that might help, especially if you have two monitors available, would be that I can take and go to Huddle, and I'm going to find that game that we had out of Huddle, which was Newport. I'm going to open it up. Over here on the side it says modify. Okay, so I'm going to click modify and I'm going to choose edit video. Now what's going to happen is it's going to open a screen where you'll see all four of the monitors, and what we want to do is go through and look here at where there is what's called black video, black spaces, meaning that there's no video that should be there. This is what you originally ODK'd and matched in Huddle. So if you're looking right here on play 20, we should have no video showing here. If you'll notice, this is a scoreboard, and this is one of the scoreboards we just adjusted in FCBC. If we'll look at play 20, I'll go back up here to play 20. If you'll notice on this row right here that we have no video showing in play 20. You don't want to have to manually go through and rematch like you did originally in Huddle. Then we'll use what you already have done in Huddle and help us find where there are black spots or black video, no video showing. So as I scroll down, like we said, we knew we were going to have only 114 clips available in this particular angle. So we're going to have to make sure that we're between 26 to 43. We're going to have to move all that video down. Same thing's going to happen here in 40. So I mean, I can go back to FCBC. It's going to be in the that last end zone section, which is the north end zone, and I'm going to go down. Let's see, which was that? That was on play 26, and it goes down to play 43. So I'm going to go back here into FCBC and find 26, and I'm going to start moving things down. That moves down, it moves down. I'm just going to move it down until I get it down to where it needs to be. Okay, and that's the process that I would use, and it'll allow me to move the video and get it matched much quicker than if I try to go through and manually match this like I did originally in Huddle. And once we have it done, we'll hit save, and that will save all the work that we've done. I would suggest as you're going through doing this that probably every 3 or 4 or 5 minutes that you go back and click the save button. If for some reason you lose power or your computer all of a sudden does a Microsoft update, which they are known to do nowadays on Windows 10, anything that you have not saved, you'll end up starting all over again. So my suggestion would be like we are right now, and I'm not going to go any further here with moving video. I'm going to go ahead and save this and then say okay. And now if something happened to this computer, either power wise, update wise, something happened where this went off, heaven forbid somebody walked over and closed it, then if that occurred, then I could go back in to FCBC editor, into the editor, and this is going to take a second. Go back in where I was originally, and I go back to the match video. And if you'll notice, once everything loads, I scroll down, everything is saved just like it was before. If I had closed this without hitting save, none of this would still be there like it is right now. It would not have saved the work we had already done. So my suggestion is every so often, every few minutes, 5-10 minutes, click the save button and then continue with what you're doing work-wise. Okay, so this should end up everything that we need to talk about as far as how to import a game from Huddle using the data first method, meaning that we're inputting our data in and then we're matching our video to the data.